Hi, everyone. Welcome to the latest episode of Unplugged by SHAPE America. I'm your host, Stephanie Morris, and today my special guest is Jessica Napier, who happens to be our National 2020 Health Education Teacher of the Year. Jessica teaches 6th through 9th grade health and physical education at Lee County Middle and High School in Betaville, Kentucky. Jessica, welcome, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you for having me. It's such an honor.
So first and foremost, I just want to check in. This is such a stressful, challenging time in our country. How are you right now? And are you teaching? And if so, what does that look like?
Right now, as an individual, I'm heartbroken for our country. And as an educator, I'm taking the time to plan and to advocate for my students this coming fall. How I'm looking at ways that I can teach them to deal with and to cope and to heal from what we're all going through right now. So right now I'm not teaching, I am more of a learner. So I'm doing some professional development. There's a lot of remote PD going on right now that's free and easily accessible. So I've been doing a lot of that. And on my own, I'm kind of researching trauma-informed practices and how to embed that into our health education curriculum. When we were teaching, we finished up on May 7th. So when we were teaching, it was the whole remote learning was a bit of a challenge for our area. We have a lot of students who don't have internet access for various reasons. So everything that we planned had to be kind of a two-track, a bi-track, if you will. We had to have an online version and of course a printed version of all the needed resources and materials along with the assignment. So it was a challenge, to say the least. It's not my preferred way to do education. I really missed seeing my students face to face. And I missed the opportunity to celebrate this awesome award that they were a part of. I got to video a lesson to send in for the National Teacher of the Year award, and they were a part of that, and they were so proud of that. So, I miss sharing that with them, and I can't wait to get back to celebrate with them face to face.
Thank you so much. That was really thoughtful, and I know everybody listening will really appreciate those thoughts and relate to them. So I've also been thinking about our health educators right now and the complex, sensitive, but really meaningful conversations you are often engaging with your students. And the foundation of trust that's so important also, right? And building with your students to have those conversations. I can't imagine what that must be like in a more virtual environment. Have you picked up on any resources that have been helpful to you in hosting those conversations, or are there any individuals you're following that have been helpful?
Yeah, I've received some advice from former health educators and current health educators from our area, because different areas have their different challenges, I suppose, in our country when it comes to communication. But for me and my students, what has worked best is communicating on an individual basis. We tried Zoom, we tried Google Meets, and that was okay for some of my students. But for most of my students, those types of meetings were inaccessible. So we really tried to reach out on an individual basis to make it a much more personal connection. Now, luckily, with my high school students, I've had them for 4 years. So we have developed that relationship of trust already. So they were definitely the more open to communicating. They were more open to communicating than my younger students. With my younger students, I really had to make an effort to reach out to them. So some of the things that were suggested to me was one, we did a journal every day, and in the corner of that journal, I asked them personal questions about themselves, so that, when they turn that in on Google Classroom each day, or when they turn that in at the end of the week on paper, I could see their concerns, and I could see, I could understand what type of needs that they had, and I could reach out to them even more if the need be. But it gave them an opportunity to communicate with me, although, Zoom was strategic in the topics that I chose to discuss with my students during remote learning. Luckily, I had already included the sensitive topics of sexual health and alcohol and tobacco and other drugs, which are hard for us students around here. I had already taught those topics through my decision-making unit. So I tended to actually keep our conversations lighthearted and upbeat by doing a personal responsibility unit with them. So I taught them skills that they could use right then in their life, just to stay relevant in their life, and so that they felt comfortable to reach out to me with more meaningful things if they needed to. So some skills that we worked on were time management, exercising, eating healthfully. We also did some things on stress management, so things that were relevant to them at that time, so that we could continue the communication, and they felt comfortable enough to reach out to me. And some of them did.
It's so powerful. I really love those examples, and it's clear that you found innovative and different ways to really stay connected to your students, which I think is terrific. Well done. So we've obviously talked a little bit about what a challenging and stressful time this is, right? For the teachers, for our students. But I always like to ask our teachers especially, are there any positive moments that have come out of this for you? Anything that you can share with us?
Yeah, I think right now, just in general for health education, I think now would be a perfect time to have a national health class, because people are needing to know, how do I access valid resources right now? Where do I go to get health care? How do I advocate for myself and others right now? How do I use health behaviors to protect myself? And how do I express myself in ways that are respectful, culturally relevant, and effective? How do I remain hopeful for the future? And I think, setting goals and attaining them and reaching for those is one skill that we could teach at that time. How do I make healthy decisions, especially the ability to stop and think before I act or speak? And then to think about, too, what influences the decisions I make. I think if we had a national health class right now, people would just absorb those skills and put them to practice right now. That's it.
It's great. And I completely agree. And what a fantastic idea. So let's think about how to make that happen. But I really love it. I think you are spot on. There has never been a time when a national health class was more critical or needed. So any last thoughts for our audience today about teaching skills-based health education in this incredibly challenging time in our country?
If I could speak to health educators, I would say that you are the most important people in the education setting right now. And how we teach our students, what we teach our students is absolutely a priority in the moment. Physical education, health education is definitely what they need right now. I wish I had this magic wand just to create, tools for health educators. I would love to know what your needs are. I'm on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and all of the above social media concepts. I'm on there, so you can feel free to contact me. I wish that we had a curriculum that could help us be very adaptable, both online and not online. And I wish we had a very much needed, powerful tool. And that is a skills-based health curriculum that pertains to cultural diversity and social injustice in very meaningful and calming ways. So I'm working on that. It's not going to be perfect, but if anybody has any ideas, please feel free to offer your input.
Thank you, Jessica. May I just say, I think you are going to be a fantastic ambassador for skills-based health education as our 2020 National Education Teacher of the Year. I am really excited for all that you will do in the year ahead, and I'm excited for that resource. And thank you so much for your time today and spending it with me and our health and physical education community.
Thank you, Stephanie.